In this section, we will be taking a look at the main types of unemployment. So, depending on the textbook, some lay emphasis on 5 types, while here we'll take a look at frictional, structural, and cyclical. And then we will move on to take a look at the concept of the natural rate of unemployment. Some other textbook will talk of seasonal unemployment, and some will talk of technological unemployment, which really falls under structural. So let's start with the first one. So when we talk of frictional unemployment, we are looking at temporary unemployment. So here you are talking of workers searching for a suitable job. In other words, they are moving from one job to another. It's normal that it takes some time when you are trying to switch jobs. For example, if you quit your job, it takes some time for you to move from one job to another. If, for example, you are taking time off work and you want to get back into the workforce, it takes some time from the moment you start sending your CV to when you get a job. When you graduate from school, it's normal that it should take some time for you to start searching and then find a job. The moment you start searching, you are considered to be frictionally unemployed. So this is simply the normal search time that is necessary for people to find a new job. And the lack of information to match a job applicant with a job vacancy is generally what determines how long frictional unemployment will last, but it's considered normal. It's just a byproduct of labor mobility and a sign of a healthy economy when people can change jobs to move from jobs which are less suitable to the jobs which are more suitable to their skill set. Now, the second one is known as structural unemployment. When we talk of structural unemployment, we are looking at unemployment that occurs due to a lack of skills necessary for available jobs. So at times you have people who were working, but because of a change in the structure of the economy, people no more need their skill sets, but they just don't have the skills for the new jobs. For example, those who used to work in mining, who used to dig, maybe because of technology or innovation, suddenly their skills are no more needed. Most people have heard about jobs going overseas, factories closing, and no one needs the skills of the factory workers. They generally need to go back and train, and government at times offers training programs. So when it's because of the change in the demand of skills in an economy, we call such unemployment structural unemployment. It's because the structure of demand in an economy has completely changed. And it simply reflects a dynamic dimension of changing economy. The economy is changing. Think of it before the Industrial Revolution or before the steam engine came into being. People used to do things manually. People use horses. Now people are using planes, fast cars, to move from one place to another. So that's what we are talking about. So here you have an interesting question. What type of unemployment would occur if these miners lost their jobs as a result of a reduction in demand for their output and needed training to find other employment? So this is typical of what structural unemployment is all about. Now, the third type, which is the most serious one, is cyclical unemployment. So this is unemployment due to short-term fluctuations in the economy. Generally, we have long-term fluctuations. We actually don't call it long-term fluctuations. We talk of the trend. So it's an upward movement, slow upward movement. However, within that trend, we have short-term cycles of fluctuation. So it occurs during a recession due to inadequate demand. So when you have a recession, generally it's characterized by a low production of goods and services. And when you don't produce a lot of goods and services, then generally you don't need to employ so many people. If you used to sell 1,000 boxes of sushi a day and now you only sell 200, then you don't need so many workers. You don't need as many workers as before. So why don't you sell as much? It's because demand has fallen. So it occurs as a result of inadequate demand, and because demand is not high, supply also falls, so it also affects the number of workers. So it's viewed especially, so it has to be corrected using government policies, and in a couple of weeks we will be taking a look at fiscal and monetary policies. So it has high economic and personal costs because it's just devastating. Now we'll take a look at the last concept under this section, which is the natural rate of unemployment. So we have talked about frictional unemployment, structural unemployment, and cyclical. So when the only unemployment rate in an economy is structural and frictional, then we declare that we have no unemployment. In other words, the unemployment rate is the natural rate of unemployment. It's considered a normal unemployment rate. So the amount of unemployment that is unavoidable equals to the sum of frictional and structural unemployment. So that's just what we mean by that. So it exists when the economy is neither in a recession nor in a boom. So recession and booms are typical of fluctuations in an economy or cyclical unemployment. So in Canada, it's estimated at the moment at 6%. So 6% of frictional and structural unemployment. So when unemployment rate in Canada is 6%, we simply say there's no unemployment. In other words, we have the natural rate of unemployment or unavoidable unemployment, because when it goes lower than that, it generally results in inflation. Now, we also take a look at what is potential output or potential goods and services. So here you are looking at the amount of goods and services you can produce if you have zero unemployment or you use all your resources efficiently. So it's simply the amount of real output or real goods and services produced the economy will produce if all of its labor and other resources were fully employed. So that's the potential the economy has. So full employment, coming back to this concept, full employment of labor implies that the economy is providing employment for all who are willing and able to work with no cyclical unemployment. Okay, no cyclical unemployment. Now, talking about the natural rate of unemployment, technological advances may displace some workers. However, it still leads to overall growth. People may lose their job, but overall in the economy as a whole, the economy grows. Why? Because some sectors are suffering, but some sectors are really thriving. Because with innovation, the cost of production generally falls. People have higher income. In other words, producers make more money. And as a result of that, prices can fall and products of better quality or better products are available for consumers, all because of technological advances. Now, we will introduce the concept of inflation here.